So the only problem currently here is that if, for example, we do have saved answers, right? But then while I saved some answers, the teacher added some new questions, then I may have a problem because those new questions will not be part of the saved answers. The problem will be there will be some saved answers, but because I only saved, let's say, half the answers the first time, then the ones that are extra will not be part of this loop. So as a result, they're going to be ignored. So we need a way to still show an empty input if we don't find one of the items in the loop. So for us to know that we did find something in the loop, we need to be able to write something here. So what I'm going to do is here, once we get into the is not empty and we pass through it, I just want to write the word found here is equal to false. I like this. Okay. So this happens if this is true, right? Then we continue with that. I'm just lazy to put PHP tags down here, but that would have been neater, but why not? And then there's a for each loop here. No, this one, this if statement. If we do find something here, then we change found to true. Like this. Oops, that's not true at all. Okay, so then we can just check for with found. If after the loop we did not find the thing, then let's add an empty. So I will put an if statement again here. So hopefully these if statements will not be very confusing. It would have been better if I just used PHP tags, 2 PHP tags here to represent everything, but here we are. So here I'm just going to say if not found, if nothing was found there, like this, then let's put another end if, since we have an if statement before we forget, like this. Let me move this here. Yeah, so if not found, let's put this empty one that doesn't have any value. That way the user can add a new value there, but we leave everything as it is, like so. So let me just make sure that this doesn't create duplicate inputs as we had seen previously, and it doesn't. So this is all good. Now we're remaining with this section here, which should show us the selected answer. So as always, we will need an if statement like this one. Yes. So the thing is, the value that we have, let's look at the, that's because I removed the previous. Let me undo here a second. I want this show saved answers back. Okay. I'm looking for a specific answer which I cannot find. Okay, so let me select it and then say save your answers. Okay, so back here we have it here in B. Cool. And we don't have it here, but we do have photosynthesis there, which is good. So we just need this multiple choice to also work. So answer is equal to B. So question ID there, and then this one. So let's go and have that done as well. So the multiple choice one happens around here. Yeah, this is the input right here. Okay, so unfortunately we need the same looping mechanism that we have here. Now instead of wait, there's another loop within a loop here. This will get very interesting to see what's going on, because this loop right here is looping to create these right here. Right now we just need to check to see okay. You know what? Let's try this a little bit differently. Okay, let me try something here real quick. Let's go to techtest.php. Okay. Now, when taking tests, we don't add any questions here, so all this should be removed. So this public add question should not be there, edit question should not be there, and delete question should not be there either. So let's remove those. Don't remove the last curly bracket because that's for the class. Okay, goody. Okay, so now that we have that out of the way, what I want us to do is create a new function. So I'm just going to call this one public function. Let's say get answer, like this. Then we're going to supply the saved answers here, like this, and let's do that. Okay, so what I want here is to check to see this is not empty. So if not empty, yeah, then let's do a loop, shall we? And then let's do for each, and then that's saved answers, and we don't need the keys, we just need the row, the answer row there. Okay, cool. Now, before anything, I want to put a return so that we can return an empty string if all fails. But then, as we are looping here, I also need to know the ID of the answer that I want. So the ID here will be this. So let's put that ID and the loop for answers. So copy this, and I just want a question, an if statement. If ID is equal to row question ID, like this, and let's put question ID. If those two are equal, this means that this means that whatever the answer here is, that's the correct one. So row answer, that's what we have to return. So return row answer, like this. Okay, so pretty good. All right, so far so good. This function should help us to get some answers. So let's give it a test run, shall we? Now here I'm going to copy this, come back here, and the reason I'm doing all this is I want to simplify this section right here because I think it's way too complex. Now, this is nothing compared to the complexity we're going to have here because there's already a loop here, so I want to avoid having this level of complexity. So here what I'll do is I just want to echo an answer. So what I will do is, let's say, saved answers. So if question type multiple, not equals to multiple here. So I want to just give it a try here. So put some PHP tags. And what I want to do is do this and say echo this. Let's try with this and see what happens. Get answer. And then what answer do we want? We want it from saved answers array. And we want a particular ID, which is question ID. So comma question ID, like so. Okay, so let's see if we're going to have an echo of an answer there. So you see the answer here is echoed as photosynthesis. None of these are correct, and we should have a B at the very end here. Where is this? Let me go up here again. Okay, so there is B. Oh, this is not happening because we're not going through here at all. But at least you can see there's 2 photosynthesis here, which means answers are being found. Let me try here and just say another answer. And you should see it at the top here once I save. So let me make sure I save B as well. Okay, cool. And then you see another answer, photosynthesis, photosynthesis. So this is working very well. So let's just reverse what we did here. Now here what I did is I added all of these instead of just having this here, right? This was, let me actually just copy this here, copy that. And then let's see here. Everything that has to do with saved answers should go out the window. So let me move all of this except this empty one here. So I want to remove everything here. Out. Okay, but I need to count how many if statements. It's better to remove them one by one, so that way I know what I'm removing rather than just moving things randomly. So I'm removing one if statement, which is next to a for each. So that's an if statement next to a for each. First of all, let's remove this one, if and if. So this one is straight clear where we are headed. For each and for each. So let's remove that. And then there's if, and then there's else and if. So let's remove that, but we want to leave this input. So let's remove that as well. This and if is for this one, which we need. So let's leave those there. So I'm going to refresh this again to make sure that I haven't broken anything. So I don't have any duplicate inputs, but the inputs are still there, which is good. This is still there as well. Okay. So we took a trip there and now we are back to our original, right? Because we have a simpler function now that will do things for us. So I'm going to say get this answer right here, and this one is going to be equal to answer. And just to avoid conflicts, I'm going to say my answer is equal to this get answer. So regardless, this is going to return a string. If there's no answer, it's going to return an empty string. So I'm just going to do value over here and just say value and echo whatever my answer is. Just as simple as that. So let's refresh this. Okay, so as usual, I get this bracket here, remove that, let's refresh, and there we go. So at least now we get photosynthesis, an answer there, but we don't get this answer here, right? Okay, no problem. There, what we need is actually, let me move this, my answer, cut this so that we are remaining with only this. Let's put it at the top so we can also use it where there's this, where it's equal to multiple, right? So you can put it anywhere at the top here, it doesn't really matter, as long as it's part of the for each loop. So let me put it right after the for each like this. Okay. So we have an answer here for this current iteration that we are getting. So in our case where it's multiple, we will have an answer like B, for example. Okay. So what I want to do is here in the multiple, there is this question ID, same thing here, and the value is the letter. Okay, so all we need to do is to check whether this should be checked or not, this particular input, because this is a radio button, right? So all we need to do, let me do it right here, because we can put the checked anywhere, even here at this end, it doesn't really matter as long as it's part of the input. So let's try and put it right between here. So what I'll do is I will just put some PHP tags to try and echo the word checked, but we're going to echo it only in a certain instance if my answer is equal to the current letter that we have as the value. So I'll put that there and then put my question mark and then put checked like this. It's always good practice to just leave some spaces here and there just in case it gets mixed with these other attributes, and then full colon and then empty string like that. Okay, so all this is saying is that if this is true, if these two are equal, the letter that is in this value and our answer, if those two are equal, then echo checked, otherwise just echo an empty string. So let's see if we can refresh, and you see that now this is checked. If I say the answer is C and save, once it refreshes, you see that it will remain with C or that one. So now I can hide this because I don't need to see this information anymore. So back here, and let's remove that and come back and refresh. So hopefully that wasn't too confusing, because we went one route first, but I only decided to change things because I saw the complexity that was coming for the next part. So this is much easier if we send the function to the class instead. Okay. This is the power of object-oriented PHP. See, instead of doing things procedurally like we were doing in there, we just moved it to a separate function like this, and that does wonders. Okay, so pretty good. At least now we can save our questions and answers. I'll see you in the next video.